What we got, fellas?
So what are your just impressions been this summer so far as the guys are working out more, you prepare for Bahamas?
Very impressed. Our guys are taking advantage of the culture and working extremely hard. To the point where some guys, we have to dial back a little bit because some guys are working out 3 times a day, 3-4 times a day, and the summer has been great. One of the positives to the summer is that a lot of these guys went away to little satellite camps and they were training with other pros 3-4 times a day. And so they're obviously getting a taste of what it is to be a pro. And so they kind of brought back that hustle to our spring and training and our summer training. And so it's been great. It's been great to see guys compete to who's the first in the gym, who's the last out of the gym, who's in there 3 times, 1 time, 4 times. These guys there's some inner locker room competition, so it's been great for them.
Can you tell you guys are pretty significantly ahead of this time last year because you have so many guys back who know what Cal wants, who knows the system?
Yeah, having obviously Xavier back, which is our point guard, and then obviously having the other guys back, but having Xavier back for a second year, someone who understands and to lead, although we have multiple leaders in our locker room, but having a lot of that experience back has been positive for us. Our guys all know what it is, know what to expect, and so it's kind of been cool in that sense to coach a veteran group with them, really good newcomers. So these guys are all adapting well amongst each other.
Can you sum up Xavier's importance to this team? You got a little bit of flack for the way it ended last year after he was hurt and stuff. It seems like sometimes fans don't always appreciate all that.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse of the Big Blue Nation. They're so invested. We understand the dynamics of that they, the good and the bad, and they're opinionated because of the investment. It cuts deep. So we understand that, and I think Xavier understands that. I think the main thing for him to do is keep the main thing to maintain. Just kind of like continue to chop wood, so to speak, what we call it, and get better every single day, every single possession. And he's been doing that. He and I spend a lot of time together on and off the floor, and so we're working on a lot of things, and hopefully everyone will see all of the stuff that we've been working on. And it's more situational awareness, and what I mean by that is the last 5 minutes of the game, the last 7 minutes of the game, understanding the situation and being aware of what's the do's, the don'ts, taking less risk and being more efficient and sharper. And we've talked about that ad nauseum. So I'm expecting for him to be the best point guard in the country.
Who's first in the gym?
There's a group of guys that are first in the gym, but Jacob's one of them, Chris is one of them. Guys are doing it differently, but there's a group that goes at 7 in the morning. We call it the Breakfast Club. So we have about 4 or 5 that have been in that group. So I guess those are the first guys, the Breakfast Club guys. So I'm not gonna name every name on the Breakfast Club.
I know it's early, but have you got a sense of how good defensively this team is going to be?
Not yet. We haven't until this week. Next week we'll start to chop away at some defensive stuff. But the potential of how good we can be defensively with Xavier, Chris, Kaysen, Damian, Jacob. We should be really, really, really good defensively. We should block more shots. That's a huge point of emphasis for us is our rim protection. Even though Oscar averaged 1.5 blocks per game, he's not considered a shot blocker as much as Damian and Jacob and some of our guards can be. I remember watching Kentucky basketball years ago when you had guys like Eric Bledsoe, guys like John Wall who would go up and block shots. I think we have that now with some of our guards being able to also protect the rim, and it just won't come from our interior. I think some of our guys on the wings can defend the rim and block shots. So that's going to be a point of emphasis. We've looked at some other things defensively with our ball screen coverage. So we'll see. This is a chance for us to try some of the things out. And coach, if he likes it, we'll keep it and foul it away. If he doesn't, then we'll change it.
Yeah, speaking of Damian, he does things that nobody else can do. Can you kind of assess his game and maybe the jump that you've seen him make from year 1 to 2?
Just innate, right? Just God-given gifts. He's an avatar, right? You're right. He does things that wows you every day in practice. But what Damian has done, and what everyone will see, is he's improved his skill. He's improved his ball handling. He's improved his jump shot, his middle game. All of that stuff is improved tremendously. Like it just won't be a lot of dunks for Damian. Like he's really comfortable with being an all-around basketball player. We spend a lot of time together with Damian. Damian's in the gym a lot. He's working on his game. He's finding comfort in his game and what that is. And we're just trying to keep him in a lane, right? And he's really efficient with what he's doing right now. But the other stuff, that's a given, right? The wow factor stuff that he does, that's God, right? We're not teaching that. A lot of times we come in the gym and we do stuff where he doesn't dunk the ball, where we say it's all skill. He doesn't dunk it. His left hand has gotten a lot better. Our guys, man, everyone is taking a leap, right, and better themselves. So we feel good about our group.
Jacob says he's been, to that point, he's been working on his outside shooting. Last year he stayed a lot inside that 18 to 20 range. Is that checking out? Is there an expectation for him to keep stretching that range?
Absolutely, that is for us and for his personal games. He has to extend his game. He has to get better at that part of the game. But he just can't love it. He can like it, he just can't love it. And so there's a fine line that we're trying to get him in a happy medium where he likes the three but just don't fall in love with it. So there's a saying that I have that the guys know, and sometimes use it in scouts, that love the rim like the three. And that's a huge discipline. That needs to be his next tattoo. And love the rim like the three. You can fall in love with a new toy, right? But he worked so hard on it, and then you don't want to pick up any other toy. You just want to play without it. And so we have to find a happy medium where you play with that toy. You pick up the Legos. You know what I mean? Pick up the action figure. Don't just fall in love with the PS4. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the new game right now that he's falling in love with. And he's doing pretty good though. He's doing pretty good with that. And we're gonna stay on him and hold him accountable.
Chin, about the situational awareness you were talking about with Xavier, how hard is it to flip that switch when he plays at such a breakneck pace to know when to rein that in?
It's feel, right? And obviously he's going to be reminded of it repeatedly, ad nauseum. I'm going to be on the bench reminding him, even in Bahamas, like, okay, this is a different part of the game. We got to get better. We got to start right now, changing the focus mentally. Determine the situation determines what we're doing. Like if we're running that action, we got to run that action, and we got to get the best shot possible. We got to get a great shot, not just go for the home runs, the oohs and ahs, and that stuff is good, right? But when it's time to win the game, we got to play winning basketball, right? So he and I have had a lot of conversations this summer about that, and we're going to continue to have those conversations. It's not just something that, you have to live that, and you live it through trial and error. So we're going to continue to work on those things.
The freshmen, the word the vets have all used is dogs. They're all dogs out there. What have you seen from them? And as far as these months, how important are they for them?
Fearless. These two guys, Chris and Kaysen, are fearless, man. They have fear, but they're fearless. The fear that they have is fear of whether they're good enough or not. So they work so hard. That fear, you want that fear, but they're fearless in the way that they play, in terms of not being afraid of a car crash, attacking the rim, dunking on people, really being those dudes that play downhill, and obviously they can make shots and do other things, but the best word for them is that they're fearless, but they have fear. The fear is that they fear that they're not good enough, so they work so hard and spend so much time trying to get better, but they play fearless.
You and Coach Cal both coach with a lot of emotion and energy on the sidelines. I know he actually said last year that he enjoys that enthusiasm from his assistant coaches. And yet sometimes when we look on the outside in, it looks like you guys kind of clashing there. Can we expect more of that this year?
It's crazy that people think that, man. It's like, so I'm not on social media, right? I don't know. I don't read all of this stuff, which thank God for me. But I hear about it. I hear about people think that there's some rift between. No, we're competitors. We're passionate. It's a war. It's in the heat of the battle. Like you think that the commander, the commander of the ship, right? Him and his, then it's like walking in the park is playing. No, like we're great. Like that's my dude. I'm excited to work for him. I'm happy that I'm working for Cal. I love what he's doing for me in terms of my career. But people can think whatever they want to think. It's crazy to me that people think that we got some beef and he's hollering at shit. No, we're in a battle. We're trying to win. But
So your Chin will still be Chin.
Chin's gonna be Chin and Cal's gonna be Cal. And we're gonna love each other the same way we always do. But if people on the outside think that there's something going on, come on.
Being back inside the program for a year or two, how much have you adjusted over this past year, and how excited are you to continue that continuity?
Good question, because I think that last year was just pretty much getting my feet wet, learning everybody, just kind of being easygoing and trying to, find your role, not wanting to step on anyone's toes, and just being a good team player. But I think that year two coming back, my role has changed a little bit because obviously I know what's expected of Coach Cal. I understand the assignment, so I can obviously be more of myself now than I was last year. So you'll obviously see a little bit more of who I am and myself because obviously I've been here now and now I understand. And my feet are already wet, my teeth are already cut, right? And my boots are knee deep in what we're doing here. So I can even be more of myself, and my role has changed a whole lot. So I'm excited about the new challenges for me and my role changing with the team.
Is there anything
in the Instagram?
No, I'm not into that. That's whack to me, man. I don't need that. Like,
Is there anything you're looking for in particular with these Bahamas games? Are you going to try any funky lineups or trying to experiment with anything? Just kind of what's your own goal for it?
The overall goal is to get better. Get better every practice, get better every game. Try to find our who we are a little bit, but we're not there. We won't be there in these Bahamas games. Get a feel for ourselves and our teams. There will be some different lineups. There'll be some, basic coach wants to do whatever he wants to do in terms of who he starts, who finishes. That's all up to Coach Cal. But I think that there will be some different groups that he would want to see to play together and so on and so forth. So this is an experimental time for us to try some things, and we'll see what works.
Usually Cal has younger teams, younger guards and whatnot, and he says they don't talk. But with an older team, you see them bringing the young guys and saying, we've got to communicate that more so than normal.
We're trying to get our younger guys to talk more with our other guys. Our older guys obviously understand the par for the course. They know that quiet teams, what we say about quiet teams is a scared team. Quiet teams are losing teams. And so we talk about those things. And so our older guys are trying to get our younger guys to understand that the energy is infectious. And so we got good energy right now because we got an older group. And sometimes I don't have to be the loudest guy in the gym. Most of the times I am. But I love it when I'm not the loudest guy in the gym. I love it when our players are carrying that energy and I can just sit back and enjoy them. And so that's happened a bunch, and it's exciting for me that I don't have to be the loudest guy in the gym.
How much do you look forward to the Bahamas, and I guess as a coach in terms of what you want to teach these guys, how you want to execute things?
Well, we want to get challenged, and I think that that's the reason why the teams, Coach Cal pretty much handpicked the teams that we'll be playing. We're playing some teams that historically has had some good teams and some good players through their club teams, and so we want to get challenged. We want to get punched in the mouth. We want to see what we're made of, but we obviously want to get better, as better as we can. We want to, each possession we want to get better. Every timeout we want to get better. We want to get better on our free throw blockout. So we're using this just for experience purposes. We want to win every game, don't get me wrong, but we want to get better, and we want to get challenged, and we want our guys to play extremely hard. We want our guys to set the standard for what we're going to be for the rest of the year. It's a dress rehearsal, but it's good for us. It's a good early dress rehearsal for us to get better.
Do you feel like the practices are more important than the games, or is it equally weighted?
You can never, I don't think you can ever substitute game experience, although our practices are really good because we really compete and some games we're probably competing against what we're gonna face in some of the challenges games we have. So iron sharpens iron. So we want the games to be a byproduct of our practice. So as long as our practices are intense and they're high level and we're getting to there's a habit with how we play, then I think that will catapult us to have good game performances.
How much more physical is Jacob?
A lot more physical, and by the time we play our first game, we hope that he's even more physical. He's put on a lot of weight. He's still working on that, continuing to add strength. Damian has put on some weight. He doesn't look like it. He's still wiry, but he's a lot stronger. If you see what he's doing in the weight room, it doesn't look like it because he's just one of those human beings. He's not going to put on a lot of bulk right now, but he's a lot stronger. But Jacob is taking on car crashes. That's something that we're going to work on today in practice, so we can continue to do that. And we talked about it earlier with another question that one of the guys had is loving the rim and liking the three, like not falling in love with, because he spent so much time. He's become a really good shooter right now that you just don't play with that toy. You use all the other tools in your bag as well. And one of those is being a finisher, and he can finish better than anybody in the country. So we want him to also do that for us.
Do you think the feedback he got is kind of like really energizing?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. The feedback he got from going through the process has kind of fueled his fire. He's been working so hard. Well, he's one of those guys we got to dial back a little bit, and but he's put in the time, and so the confidence comes from the work. And so because he's worked so hard, his confidence is through the roof right now. Sometimes you got to let some of that helium out, but you don't want him to lose that. You know what I mean? You want him to continue to be as confident as he is right now because he's put in the work. So we're excited about Jacob.
The last trip to the Bahamas, Coach Cal, did more shooting with the camera than he did coaching. He kind of leaves it to the assistants. Is that something you're really excited about?
I'm not sure right now. I think he hinted upon that, so that'll be Coach Cal's decision. So I'm not sure, but we're prepared if he allows for us to do that. All of us are experienced coaches, so we're prepared.
I don't want to say, how do you rein in Oscar, but how do you something like this, to keep him from maybe trying to do too much too soon, or do you just let him go?
I don't know what doing too much too soon is. Like, I mean, you let a quarter horse be a quarter horse. Like, you're gonna slow down a derby horse. I know this is horse country. I don't know. I'm not into horses, but I know we're not gonna slow down a quarter horse. No, just take it easy, slow down this round. No, you let them go. It's easier to dial them back than it is to get them going. As a coach, we always say that. So let them go, and if it's, we're like GPS. If we need them to slow down, we'll slow them down. If we need them to take a rest, and we'll do that. But we're not slowing anybody down.
Has anybody caught you off guard in a positive way? Like, hey, I didn't know he could do that. Or maybe that person has worked on something that over the summer we didn't see, maybe as a high school guy or someone who's coming in.
Respectfully, I will say that Adu is a lot better than what I thought he was. But everybody else, we pretty much knew what they were, who they were. Like, I think that the one for me would be that Adu physically is prepared, athletically he's prepared. He's got to get better in between the ears, but physically and athletically, he's a lot better than what I thought he would be. Would be the one guy for me.
Is he still growing into his body?
I think so. I think so. I think that he's still growing, but he's still growing in between the ears. Is whether his body gets to whatever it's going to be. I think that the most important part is the cerebral part. And he's young. He's a freshman, and this is a little different for him. But physically, athletically, he's way better than I thought he would be. That was most shocking for me.
Ken, I know you can't talk about individual recruits, but you guys got some good wins lately. What do you feel like has been the key to that? What's working for you on the recruiting trail right now?
Consistency, hard work, and selling Coach Xavier I think that we all shop for Coach Cal's groceries, and I think that we need to continue to preach the gospel and the sermon of Coach Cal. I think that we're preaching the gospel of Coach Calipari, and that's been the most important thing is shopping for his groceries and preaching the gospel and selling Coach Cal, and really getting these kids to understand who he is, what he's about, and how great of a coach he is. And I think that for us has been the positive.
Is that a New Testament or an Old Testament gospel of County?
I think it's an Old Testament. We're just re-preaching the old gospel of Coach Cal. It's worked so well before, and it's working now. So.
Oscar said he wanted to shoot threes. Have you seen him?
Absolutely, we have. We've seen him work tremendously hard on it, and I think that if he continues to work at it, I think Coach will be okay with him shooting it. But he's got to see him consistently make them in front of Coach Calipari in our practices, and he's done a great job of that, and he's working hard at that. And so he'll be, I mean, let's think, he was already a really good 17, 18-foot free throw extended shooter. All right, just pushing it back a little bit. And he's been doing a good job of putting in the work. And if he shows consistently that he can do that, I think Coach Cal may let him shoot threes, maybe.
He was very comfortable shooting the jumper straight on within the circle.
Yeah.
Has he gone to the baseline any? You know,
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing made a living off the
Absolutely.
baseline.
Well, he's always done that, but our scheme, a lot of stuff in our play package, put him in that middle of the floor stuff, and so that's why those shots are always available to him. But if he's able to extend his range through hard work and Coach Cal feels comfortable with it, I'm sure, you know, we'll find some ways to get him maybe a corner three or whatever. But that's something that I think Coach Cal is really watching closely.
I assume you've been on trips like this before, right?
I have. Actually, I went to the Bahamas before on the same type trip.
So I mean, I assume it just has to naturally give a team a head start. I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely. Just having more time in the summer, having played 4 games before you play an actual game. So this is like 4 exhibition games. You know, think about it as, you know, the exhibition games during the season are huge. Whatever, if you go on a scrimmage, if you do a scrimmage and an exhibition game, those are really good dress rehearsals for you before you play that first game. So we will already have 4 games under our belt until we play, whether it's an exhibition, whether it's a closed scrimmage. We're here, it's an exhibition, before we even get to those games. So I think we'll have a leg up on the competition, but it's just about us. At this point, it's us versus us, getting better, working on our schematics, working on our rules, our principles, getting all of that stuff down to where it's second nature.
For the backcourt, what's that process been like in terms of developing roles, I guess, other than Xavier, you know, in terms of who's the shooter, you know, how do you kind of integrate everybody together?
It's the summer, but all of our guys are shooting really well right now. Xavier has really worked again on his shooting. We expect for him to be plus 3 to 5 or more in his shooting. It's been competitive. We got some really good guards in Kaysen, Antonio, Xavier. CJ is starting to get in the mix now a lot more than he was. They had him on some restrictions. He's kind of getting past a lot of those restrictions and being able to get a good bump now. And so we got some competitive guys, and so they're making each other better. We won't have it any other way. We want them to go after each other, because if it's harder now, it'll be easier in the game. And I don't know who has the core group of guards like we have. Well, ours are darn good.